Hello everyone, this is Pablo Wegeson back out with another YouTube speech, and we have this book over here. It's called Hawaiian Street Names. So first you see the two famous streets, Kalakaua Avenue and Kapiolani Boulevard. So it says here the complete guide to Oahu street names. So if you look inside this book, it lists all the street names of Hawaii, at least the ones in Hawaiian language, street names over here. And I'm still not done with this book, but we're here. And yeah, this bookmark is from the Friends of the Library of Hawaii, and we got this book from one of the book sales. So let's look at it. For example, it's probably hard to see on the screen like this, but let's look, for example, Lanakila. So that's the name of the elementary school that I went to, and there's a Lanakila Avenue right there, and the housing lived by was Lanakila. So that's where it was. Haven't lived there a long time, so so you can look what it means. So it says Lanakila is victory, named for an Oahu land section. Okay, so you can look at all these Hawaiian street names, and you find out the meanings of the words. So, and even other Hawaiian words, like even if you never heard of the street before, but you heard of the Hawaiian word, you can find out what it means. So let's see. Like for Lanai, this is the name of the island, right? There's island of Lanai. But according to this, there's also a street in Honolulu and Wahiawa named Lanai, and you find out that word also means day of conquest. And let's just look for another one. Like I'm just looking for other Hawaiian words that people in Hawaii might be familiar with. Like there's a Lauhala. So it's the pandanus leaf used in weaving. So yeah, so you get to learn all these different Hawaiian words too. So not only street names, but other Hawaiian words. And I come to find out one of the authors is Rich Budnick. I actually met this person when I used to be a substitute teacher at Central Middle School, and he used to work there. At that time I didn't know he wrote this book. Yeah, so it's been a long time I've seen that person, but at that time I didn't know he wrote a lot of books about Hawaii too. So anyways, what also got me the attention on Hawaiian street names is back in 2003. So yeah, 17 years ago. But I was talking to one of the person I was friends with at the time, and you know, like he grew up in Hawaii, but he didn't really know the island that well because his parents didn't take him around the island growing up, and for some reason he started saying, "It's not fair to order street names in Hawaiian. It's not fair." I'm like, what? What? I mean, it's not fair. Like, it's Hawaii. It's like I said, this is Hawaii. I mean, you know what he actually said? When I said, "Oh, come on, this is Hawaii," like, he actually said, "But this is America." I'm like, what part of America are you at? You're in Hawaii. It's like, and the thing too is this, like, a lot of the names of states in America are named after Native American words or Native American names. But he says it's not fair to street names are in Hawaiian. What is that? This is ridiculous, you know? Like, so of course this is 2003, so maybe that person changed his mind since then. I hope he did. That's 17 years ago. A lot of people change their minds about things over 17 years, but that's why I'm not going to mention that guy's name. If you said it last week, I'll mention the name, but man, it's like it's not fair. What is this? Like, it's not. You know what's not fair? Let's talk about what's not fair. It is not fair that the islands that used to be an independent nation was taken over by a larger imperial power, a larger country overseas, out of greed. And it's even more unfair that the country that took over Hawaii happened to be the country that's so proud of being independent of another imperial power. It's like, but yeah, you want to talk about that's unfair? That's like being taken over by another country out of greed. That is unfair. That is unfair. But it's not fair to street names are in Hawaii. What do you expect the street names to be in? Chinese? And the guy who actually said that was of Chinese ancestry. Okay, I know people probably hearing what I'm saying, they probably thought it was what they call a Haole or European person with the European ancestry is saying that. No, it was actually a Chinese guy. And I guess he he started to feel this way because he's growing up and he felt he's picked on by Polynesian students. But that's a stupid reason to be against street names being in Hawaiian. I mean, you grew up in Hawaii, you grew up in diversity, so both your friends and enemies will come in different different colors and different ethnicities. But I never thought that'd be a reason to object to street names in Hawaii being in Hawaiian. I mean, that's ridiculous. And I told this to everybody that well, not everybody though, but a lot of people that I know. Like, I told about this to my mom. And she's like, "Hello, street, like King Street and Vineyard Boulevard is on Hawaiian words." And my dad thought the whole thing was stupid. And my dad came from Mexico, okay? So he's like, but he's like, you know, he has a culture shock when he came to Hawaii from Mexico. Like, he never complained about street names being in Hawaiian or Hawaiian words in Hawaiian. Like, he thought that was what my friend was saying was so stupid, you know? I was like, what is this? Like, and I even mentioned that to some European American guy from Miami. And he's like, what do you expect the street names to be in Chinese? Like, it's Hawaii, what do you expect? Like, even the European American guy from Miami thought it was ridiculous. I mentioned this to even other people of Asian ancestry. They think it's ridiculous what the guy said. That I mentioned this on Facebook, like this, when I mentioned that I got this book, and I mentioned that this guy that said the street name is Hawaii, he said he thinks that it's unfair that street names in Hawaii are Hawaiian, and one of the Asian like descendant guys like clicked on a laughing emoji, so even he thought it was stupid, but yeah, like that, but the thing, and the thing to it is, you're starting to get even weirder. Like a few years before this, like he got mad because like the bus passes. Remember, this is in Hawaii now. He got mad because the bus passes have the Hawaiian names of the month. Why would he be mad about that? It's Hawaii. Like, they're just giving you an opportunity to learn Hawaiian words. Like, why are you mad about that? Like, it's not fair. What is this not fair? It is fair that, in fact, we should learn more Hawaiian words. I mean, it's not fair that Hawaii got taken over by the U.S. and people were forced to learn, forced to only speak English in schools. I mean, we want to talk about unfair, like someone taking over your land and said, no, don't use your own language, don't use your language anymore, use our language instead. We took over your country, use our language. We're not going to let you use your language and you practiced over thousands of years. Now that is unfair. What this guy says unfair that Hawaiian street names are in Hawaii. But the thing is this, like, we want to talk about America, okay, fine, let's talk about America. Like, you know what I think the street names of the continent should be in Native American words. Like, if you're like say in Missouri, should be a lot of street names and place names should be like named after or have the names of the languages of the Native American tribes that are living around the area. That's what it should be. Or if you go to Michigan, like a lot of the place names, it should be in Native American language, you know? So what is this? It should be in English. It's not England. It should be in English. It's not England. So yeah, like I don't know. It's like a lot of the words, the names of states are in Native American languages. Like, so I don't know why this guy I used to hang out with got mad that street names in Hawaii are in Hawaiian. That's so ridiculous. But yeah, well, anyways, enough about that guy. But I just gotta get it out of my system too. I thought that was one of the most stupidest things I ever heard in my life. But if you want to make yourself smarter about Hawaii, get this book, Hawaiian Street Names, and you might have it in your library. You just gotta check the library catalog and. Definitely encourage you to get this book and learn it, learn the words, and be grateful for it. Alright, thank you.